Howdy, I'm Kat, and howdy, I'm Kat, and welcome back to Case Cleanup, where we spit straight facts without all the bullshitty small talk. This case is pure nightmare fuel from the jump. No mystery, no buildup, just a decision that turns catastrophic in minutes. This is Mary Vincent. She's beauty, she is brave, and this is Lawrence Singleton, an old geriatric asshole. Let's get into it. Mary Vincent was 15 years old in 1978. She grew up in Las Vegas as one of 7 kids, with a father who worked as a mechanic and a mother who dealt blackjack. On the outside, it looked like a normal working-class family. Inside, it started to feel kind of cold and distant. Mary loved dancing. She was good at it. There was a future there. But when her parents announced they were getting divorced, whatever fragile sense of stability she had, that cracked. So Mary did what a lot of teenagers did in the 70s when home stopped feeling survivable. She ran away. She lived on the streets, slept in unlocked cars, and took help wherever she could find it. Eventually, she decided to hitchhike to her grandfather's house in California. That was somewhere that felt safe and a place to call home. And that decision put her in the path of a blue van on September 29, 1978, in Modesto, California. The man driving it introduced himself as Lawrence Singleton. He didn't look dangerous. He didn't act strange. If anything, he seemed almost grandfatherly. Ordinary, even. So, Mary got in. And at first, the ride felt normal. Really, Lugnut? At first, the ride felt normal, quiet, uneventful even. But then Singleton passed the turn for the interstate, and Mary noticed immediately. She told him to turn around, and he brushed it off and said it was just a mistake, and convinced her that it was harmless, and then he steered back towards the road. Well, a short time later, he said he needed to stop and go pee. He claimed he couldn't make it to a service station because of his old man bladder. Alright, I might have added that part. But either way, he pulled over, and Mary stepped out of the van too so she could stretch and tie her shoes. And that is when he hit her. Singleton struck her in the head with a fucking sledgehammer, knocking her unconscious. He then savagely abused Mary throughout the night, and he did it over and over while she drifted in and out of consciousness, her body giving up long before her mind could. The next morning, he was ready to discard her. So with a hatchet in his hand, he dragged Mary out of the van. He cut off her arms one by one at the forearms because in his Looney Tune mind, this would keep her from being identified. Now, keep in mind, Mary was still conscious. Years later, she would explain what that moment actually felt like, and it's somehow worse than anything you could possibly imagine. Mary said in a quote, "He took my left arm and took one swing." She says, "I started to fall. Then he took another swing, and I grabbed his arm. I grabbed it real tight, and I couldn't figure out how I was still holding on to him, but I was still falling." Oh my fucking God. That is what torture looks like. Afterwards, he stripped her naked and shoved her body down a 30-foot ravine. He believed she would bleed to death before anyone could ever find her. And he was fucking wrong. Mary regained consciousness at the bottom of that ravine. This girl was 15 years old. She had no arms. She was bleeding out. So, like a bad bitch, she shoved her mangled arm stumps into the mud to slow the bleeding. Then she climbed. She pulled herself up that ravine and began walking nearly 3 fucking miles. She was naked. She was mutilated, holding what remained of her arms in the air to reduce the blood loss. Cars passed her and most kept going, but finally a couple stopped and got her help. She was rushed to the hospital and survived injuries that definitely should have killed her. And while doctors fought to save her life, Mary insisted on working with detectives. She pushed through pain and exhaustion to give them details. She helped create a composite sketch so accurate that Singleton's own neighbor recognized him. After the attack, Lawrence Singleton was arrested in San Pablo, California on October 6, 1978, 7 days after the attack. And Mary testified at trial. He was convicted of rape, kidnapping, mayhem, and attempted murder. The judge said that if he had the power, he would send Singleton to prison for life. but the law back then didn't allow it. Singleton was sentenced to merely 14 years, which was the maximum sentence at the time. He served just over 8 of them, released early for good behavior, despite a prison psychiatric evaluation stating that he was so out of touch with his hostility and anger that he remained an elevated threat to others inside and outside prison. Way to go, guys. And during his incarceration, Singleton wrote letters threatening Mary through her lawyer. She feared he would come after her again, but thankfully he never did. However, Mary won a civil judgment of $2.56 million. She never saw that money. What she did see was trauma, depression, nightmares, and prosthetics that she couldn't afford to maintain. So she filed for bankruptcy, and her dream of dancing was gone. But she began modifying her own prosthetic arms using parts from broken electronics. She found a new outlet in art, she went to university, got married, had 2 sons, got divorced, and well, she just kept going. And public outrage over his early release led to Singleton's Law in 1987, eliminating early release for torture-based crimes. So the law that was passed because of him didn't apply to him. Make it make sense. Then, in 1997, 10 years later in Sulphur Springs, Florida, Lawrence Singleton proved everyone right, that he was the largest pile of geezer shit on the planet. A painter, which was also Larry's neighbor, was walking home when he glanced through a window and saw Singleton attacking a woman. Police arrived to find Roxanne Hayes, a sex worker and mother of 3, stabbed repeatedly with a boning knife. And Singleton was covered in blood. And like a champ, Mary Vincent took the stand again. Pointing at him with a prosthetic hook, she said, "I was raped. I had my arms cut off. He used a hatchet. He left me to die." And this time, Singleton was sentenced to death. He died of cancer in prison in 2001 before the state could execute him, which is a fucking shame. But now, Mary Vincent, Mary McGriff, became an advocate, a speaker, an artist. She lived. History doesn't remember Larry Singleton as a man. It remembers him as a warning. And honestly, good fucking riddance. But yeah, that's it. Done. And don't forget, for full-length true crime case episodes where we deep dive headfirst into this shit from start to finish, make sure you subscribe, follow, and share Hot Mess Murder Club wherever you get your podcast. And yes, even on YouTube. Fucking obviously. But definitely make sure you subscribe here because this is the exclusive home of these case cleanup episodes. And you might want to ring that little alert bell too because we drop these spicy little numbers whenever we feel like it, and missing it would just be tragic. Okay, so that's it. What are you still doing here? Get the fuck out of my house. Goodbye. Why is there a soap bar and a knife at the end of that? Who put these emojis in here? Say bye, Kiki.